Hello friends, my name is Bahroz and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I will talk about one of the most certain questions that you can expect in an Amazon interview. And the reason I say most certain is because this question will certainly be asked of you when you go and appear in an Amazon interview. And this particular question is, do you have any questions for me? Or do you want to ask any questions of us? Whoever is the interviewer will turn the tables and will let you ask any questions of them. So it is very important that you understand how to prepare for it, you prepare for it, and how do you go about acing it. So we will be covering all of this in this particular video. However, before we go into all those details, I have one important ask of you, which is in case you find any value from this video, make sure to press the like button, and more importantly, subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed already. On this channel, I post content pertaining to how you can go about achieving career and financial success. So if any of these topics are important to you, then make sure that you both like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Now let me call out one important reason why do I believe I have command on the subject. The reason is that I've coached numerous candidates who have applied in Amazon and have aced their interview and were able to land their dream job in Amazon. I coach them, and then after coaching, I even connect with them to understand how was their interview, what were the kind of questions asked, and how did they go about delivering the particular interview. So all of this information that I've gathered, I've analyzed it and kind of distilled it down to few things that you require in order for you to ace your interview, and hence I'm using that information to make this particular video. Now in case you are interested in doing a one-to-one coaching session with me, you can book so using the link that I will leave in the description of this video. Also, in case you're curious as to what do I cover in this particular coaching session, well, here is a recorded video or a coaching session that I had with one of my followers. You can check out how it went, and basis that you will be able to make a decision whether you are interested in booking a one-to-one coaching session with me, where I can coach you and train you as to how you can go about acing the Amazon interview. Now let's get rolling into the video itself. Number one, the question is why you should prepare for this particular question. The reason is, one, this is a certain question. You know this question will be asked. So if you know for sure that there is a particular question that will be asked of you 100% when you go in an interview, why not prepare for it? It makes that particular period in the interview very easy, because as soon as they ask you that particular question, you know you have the answer. Second is, this part of the question or this part of the interview is not graded at all, because the interviewer is kind of relaxed and they go like, oh, okay, do you have any questions for me, or do you want to ask any questions of us? Since it's not graded, if you surprise them positively, you will earn a lot of points, because their guards were down, they were not expecting you to shine, and suddenly you come prepared, you ask the relevant question, and you kind of shine through the entire part of this particular question. And third is, not everyone would be putting enough focus in this particular question. One reason is because this question comes towards the end of the interview. And the second is, people think that they can just go in and randomly ask anything and not need to prepare. If you are someone who prepares for this particular question, you will be standing out versus many other candidates who have not prepared well for this particular question. Hence, if you prepare for this question, there is a good chance that you will be able to ace the entire interview. Even if your rest of the interview is average or slightly above average, just by acing this part of the interview, which happens in the end, will leave a very lasting and great impression on the interviewer. And hence it is important that you make sure that you exit the interview at a very high note, and that would only be possible when you ace the question that will be the last question. And the last question is, do you have any questions for me? Now the second important question is, what is the importance of really asking questions? Like, you can just simply say, I don't have any questions. Well, that is the worst thing to say, by the way, when you're asked, tell me if you have any questions for us. That is the worst thing to say. Never say, I don't have any questions to ask. Don't say it. So if you don't say that, then what is the importance of asking questions? Well, number one is, it shows engagement, that you are not just there to answer their question, rather you are in the interview to have a conversation. And you have a conversation when they are asking you some questions, you are answering, and you are also asking them some questions and they are answering. This way you are having conversation. Second, it shows preparedness. And this is what I said. If you come in prepared, it will show in your answer that you are prepared to give this particular answer, and which also shows that you have high motivation or high levels of passion in order to be in this particular role, and hence you've come prepared. So if you come in an interview and if you are able to tell the interviewer that you came in prepared, they will get a feeling that you are really passionate and you really want this job. And I rather give a job to someone who really wants it versus someone who doesn't want it at all and is just there to waste my time altogether. So when you come in prepared, you give an indication to the interviewer that you are serious, you are passionate about this role, and hence you've come prepared. The next piece is, or the importance is, that it gives you an opportunity to sell yourself, which is to tell the interviewer that you are the best person. Now, this is a strange part because, and I will elaborate on this later in the video as well, which is while you are asking them questions, essentially you are not just asking questions, but you're also selling yourself to them. So that is another reason why you should be asking questions and not saying, I don't have any questions. And the next part is, which is also very critical, is for you to understand things about the role itself, about the company. So for you to get and gather information about the role, about the company, so you can make a better choice, because Amazon expects you to collect data, to collect information and make the right decision versus just coming in blank and not knowing what you're getting into. And this is one of their leadership principle as well, which is analyze data, understand, and all. Because here Amazon expects you to not just make a blind decision, rather collect information, collect data, and then make the right decision. So you need to come across as someone who is also interviewing them and trying to understand if this is the right role, if this is the right company. Because again, as I said, they want to hire someone who is intentional versus someone who is blind. So hence it is important for you to ask questions of them when you're given this opportunity. And as I said, certainly always you will be given this opportunity. Now, the kind of questions you should not be asking is asking things about Amazon or about the company itself, like things that you already know about Amazon, like their business. It's a delivery service business, it's an e-com business, things that are already in news. Similarly, not asking them about any big initiative that has happened, because it could be possible that the person who is interviewing you is far away from that particular initiative. Let's say Amazon announces that they will start doing drone delivery, and maybe the interviewer that you kind of face is someone who is not close to that initiative and has also read the news as you've read the news, and that is the amount of knowledge they have. Now, if you ask them this question, they will be uncomfortable, would struggle to answer the question and all. So don't go into tell me about this initiative that you're doing, tell me about your sustainability work that you're doing, tell me about Amazon, the company itself. Like, they expect you to come prepared and knowing what the company is. It's not a small company, it's a big company. Everyone knows about it. So you can't just come and pretend you don't know much about the company. You should come in pretending that you know a lot about the company already, which is kind of public knowledge. And then don't go and question them or interview them on initiatives or things that they may not have complete knowledge on. But then the question comes, okay, if you're not talking to them or trying to question them on the company, then what do you ask them? So the first thing that you can do is selling yourself, using the reverse interview questions to sell yourself. For instance, one thing that you can do is you can ask them, what are the training and development opportunities at Amazon? Now, while you're asking this question, they will respond to you. However, essentially, you're giving them a signal. You're giving them a signal that you're someone who is interested into growth and development. And why would not someone want to hire someone who is passionate about growing, who is determined to grow, who is ambitious, who is looking for training and development opportunities? Like, there's someone who would be interested in their own career and in developing themselves and growing themselves. I would always want to hire some individual who has these capabilities versus some individual who is not interested in growing at all. So with this question, you're giving them a signal that I'm interested in developing myself and growing myself. Now, while they're answering the question, that answer is irrelevant, because what you intended to do with this particular question is you intended to tell them that you are someone who is interested in developing yourself and growth. Second question, or second type of question that you can ask in order to sell yourself, is to ask them a question, which is, what does success look like if I am to join this role? Or for any individual who is to join this role, what does success look like for them? Probably you'll expect an answer. Let's say we expect them to have leadership skills, we expect them to have collaboration skills, and we expect them to be an influencer, someone who can influence decision making. Now, what you need to do as the interviewer is delivering this answer, you need to take notes and make sure that all of these three areas that the interviewer is calling out were covered by you in your interview early, in the questions that you answered early. However, in case you missed any, let's say you missed anything related to influencing, because maybe they didn't ask you a direct question on influencing, or maybe you didn't have a chance to tell them about an influencing part of your past experience. Then what I want you to do is say, thank you for your answer. Let me reflect on it. You did mention about leadership and collaboration. Well, this is something that I already covered in my interview. However, you also called out influencing, and I thought we didn't talk much about influencing. And I just want to call out that in my past experience, I've had projects where I had to influence colleagues and I had to influence my manager or some other key stakeholder. The idea of asking this question is to make sure that you don't miss anything. So you ask the interviewer, what does success look like? Essentially, what you are asking the interviewer to tell you if there are any special traits, like 2, 3, 4 special traits which are top of his mind. And then you need to make sure, or you're required to make sure, that whatever you've said before covers all these traits that the interviewer is calling out. And if you've missed anything, then you use this opportunity, you use this time to address that particular part. Or similarly, you can also ask what are the key challenges that are being faced or that this particular role will face or address. Again, they will talk about a few challenges, and then you can relate to those challenges and say, yes, in my past life, I've encountered similar challenges and I've delivered on those challenges. So again, you're trying to make sure that no stone is left unturned, and you are making use of these last 5 to 10 minutes in order to ask questions which will give you an opportunity or insight into what the interviewer is looking for, and hence make sure that everything that they are looking for gets addressed. Another one could be, what are the kind of decisions this particular individual will need to make? This will also give you an insight of what the interviewer is looking for. Now, these were more role-related questions. If it's a very senior individual that is interviewing you and may not be very close to the role itself, then maybe you can ask them questions about what are the biggest organizational challenges that they're working on or they're facing, and what are the biggest business challenges that they are facing. It is just to get them to talk about what kind of hurdles, challenges they are working on or they're facing. And even if it's not directly related to the role, you can still sell yourself by telling them how you relate to those challenges, whether it's organizational or business, or what are the recommended solutions coming from you for those challenges and how those challenges can be addressed. So all of these questions that I've talked about are essentially you selling yourself, you making sure that you don't miss any opportunity, any stone unturned, to tell them that you are the right candidate. So with these questions that you will be asking, you're not only trying to sell yourself, but at the same time, you will be able to understand whether this role is the right fit for you or not. And hence, maybe later you can evaluate and see whether this was the right choice or this is the right choice for you, and whether you should continue pursuing this role altogether or just leave it. So this will not only sell yourself or sell your skills, sell your experience, but also make sure you understand what you're getting into. The next thing that you can do, or the type of questions that you can ask here, is to make the interviewer feel happy. And one way to make them feel happy or good about themselves is to make them talk about themselves. When people talk about themselves, they are very passionate, they feel very happy, and they will go out of the interview feeling very motivated, happy, and loving the conversation just because you allowed them to talk about themselves. And one way to do so is to ask them about the culture of the organization. How do they feel about the culture of the organization? What is their point of view about the culture of the organization? What gets them out of the bed and brings them to the office, or brings the motivation in them to work in the place that they've been working for past X number of years, whatever the experience of that individual is. And then suddenly the individual starts to talk about themselves, their own experiences, what drives them, what motivates them. And when people talk about themselves, they feel happy. So if you again exit the interview by making the interviewer talk about themselves, you will leave on a high note. So essentially the idea is either you go about selling yourself while also understanding the role itself, or you go about the interviewer to talk about themselves. So you make the interviewer talk about themselves. So these are kind of the two routes that you should be taking. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully after watching this video, you will be able to ace your Amazon interview altogether. I've made a separate video where I talk about how you can go about preparing for Amazon interview. You can check it out here. Other than that, there is another video where I talk about what are the 16 leadership principles at Amazon and how to internalize them so you are prepared for any kind of question that comes your way to answer them using those 16 leadership principles. You can check it out here. Thank you.